Welcome to Big Blend Radio's Eat, Drink, and Be Merry show, where we love to talk about food, drink, recipes, and techniques, and where to shop, taste, and play. Let's go. You know, here on Big Blend Radio, we will do anything we can to support small business. It is the backbone of our country, and over the holiday seasons, there's just no excuse to not drink wine. No, just kidding. But some people don't, and some people shouldn't. So, everyone, we've got Dave Specter back on the show. Him and his wife Sara own Bells Up Winery, just out of Portland, Oregon. They're in Newberg, right? Is it Newberg,
Yep.
Oregon? You can go to bellsupwinery.com. I encourage you to go there. I can absolutely testify 100% that these wines will be perfect for the holiday season next year, anytime. So I'm just saying, if you want to give a gift or give yourself a gift or serve really good Oregon wine at your Christmas or holiday gathering, go to bellsupwinery.com. Was that good? Can we be on QVC yet, Dave?
I think we're getting close, but thank you so much, Lisa, for having me again. And you're absolutely right. It's, we're getting into holiday season, and this is the time when friends and family are gathering. And if you love your relatives, hey, it's a great time to sit and share a bottle of wine with them. And if you can't stand your relatives, then hey, it's great to have a bottle of wine to drown your sorrows in the process. Either way, we got your backs.
Well, wine tasting too is a really good conversation starter for gatherings, because I remember once I used to watch William Shatner had a wine show. I don't know if you ever saw that, the Brown Bag Wine Show. Did you ever see this? This was like
That I
10
think I
years
missed
ago.
some.
Okay, this was so cool. So Nancy and I got really into this. And then one of the holidays, we went to a friend's house, and we're I know we sound like loudmouths, but we're kind of like sit in the corner and drink wine and have a personal conversation with people. And she's like, "No, you've got to be at the entrance. You're extroverts and you got to welcome people." I'm like, "I don't want to do that." But then we're like, "All right, give us a glass of wine." So what we did is we took all of our wine and hers, and anytime someone brought in wine, we put it in a brown bag, and we copied William Shatner. And what he made people do was, even if they've never had wine before or don't drink, you taste wine and you taste it, and then you compare the wine to your career, right? So we'd have movie stars and all kinds of people. So it was really interesting. And then they would have to do a rating, guess like what the percentage was. And he explained the wine specter rating. And then he would unveil where the wine comes from, what it is. And it was kind of really interesting. So we sat at the door greeting people. We had no clue who they were, and drinking wine and going, "Taste this wine." And then, of course, we got a chef who just nailed it. So that was good. But that's something I was thinking about for the holidays, is having this tasting experience, play a game like that, especially if you don't know people, to kind of talk about wine. And I'm thinking even for, Oregonians to get together with this wine and kind of talk about the nuances and have a point to go to, whether it's like focus on your career and how does the wine taste with it, music for you, like Bells Up. What do
Yeah.
you think about that kind of thing?
I think it's a really neat idea. And I think one of the things that would really help that is to really choose the wines that you use carefully for that, just in the sense that you want wines that are going to be very pleasant and easy drinking. Because, most people, when they have guests over, you've got a lot of different palates that are coming. And you get some people are going to prefer certain types of wines over another. Obviously, is in my business, we see this all the time. You'll have folks come in and it may be a couple, and you have one person prefers, certain types and other person prefers other types. What I think is important is to choose wines that will find ways to appeal to as many different people as possible. It's one of the things that my personal winemaking philosophy has always involved, which is, if you have somebody who, let's say, normally drinks white wines, what are ways to get them sort of introduced to the idea of red wines, and vice versa. You see these things going together. And so for the type of activity that you're describing, it would work really well, because you'll really get much better participation among the entire group if all of your participants can find something about those particular wines that they can connect with and talk about, and brings up those sorts of experiences and moments to share with the group.
Now let's talk about, people at the table and purchasing your wines that will go well with a holiday gathering. Just because I mean, it's hard because you've got pie, you've got cake at Christmas. Come on,
Mhm.
everybody needs chocolate cake at Christmas. I'm just saying. Everybody's going to have something different. It might be a cocktail party with wine. There's just so many different ways of celebrating the holidays, right? What are some of the wines that you would say are a safe bet for trying to appease a room of people that you don't know or don't know their palates?
Exactly. So, and you're exactly right. You're trying to cover a lot of ground, but I'd say that I could pick three wines really just right off the top of my head that, especially as we're getting into holidays, would work really well. One is we make a sparkling rosé. It's called Fireworks. And it is our basically our standard rosé, which has a bolder, much more fruit forward approach. It is dry. It is a brut, so it is not sweet at all. But what it does bring is fruitiness. I think a lot of times we're used to thinking of sparkling wines as either very, very like parchingly dry or sugary sweet. This is neither. This fits beautifully into the two because it will bring you that pink and that red fruit flavor. You'll get the effervescence, of course, that you're expecting in a bubbly, but it doesn't dry you out. You will still get that beautiful fruit on the back. And even though it's not sugary sweet, it will
Mm-hmm.
provide that nice palate cleanser. And again, regardless of whether somebody's a red drinker, white drinker, I mean, I have people a lot of times that come in here and say, yeah, I'm not really generally a sparkling drinker. And then they end up walking out with several bottles of it. So it's really one of those things that will appeal to a broad audience. We
Mm.
have a white wine that does really nicely. The wine is called Helios, and it is made from a grape called Seyval Blanc. That's Seyval. It's a grape that we are the only ones in the Willamette Valley that grow. It's a
Wow.
grape you normally find back east in the Finger
Mm.
Lakes in New York, which is more or less where we got exposed to it. But what I love about that wine for this time of year, it's got a bit of a heavier texture to it. What I
Mm.
always describe it to folks that haven't had it is not the flavor of Chardonnay, but just think about how thick and heavy Chardonnay can be. That's what this will do as well. So for
Okay.
cooler months, cooler times,
Perfect.
this is a really nice one to have. It also
Comfort
brings
wine.
exactly, and it also brings a lot of different, very complex fruit flavors to the party. So no matter what you're serving, there's so
Mm.
many complex flavors in this wine. You don't usually see that in a white. This will go really, really well with just about anything. The
Mm.
other one that I will pull out, Oregon is so known, at least this part of Oregon is so well known for growing Pinot Noir. We obviously make a
Yeah.
lot of Pinot Noir ourselves. And one of my favorites for this time of year, it's called Jupiter. It is 100% estate grown Pinot Noir. It will provide a warmth. It provides a savoriness. It works
Mm.
really, really well with or without food. One thing I talk about Pinot all the time because a lot of folks, I believe, think that Pinot is like, oh, they've had a lot of commercial bought Pinots and they're watery. Pinot is supposed to be a light bodied wine. It is never supposed to be a light flavored wine. And what you'll get
Okay.
out of this particular wine, especially, is you will get that depth of flavor. It will work well with anything that you're going to put on the plate, but it also provides that nice warmth. So as you're just sitting around talking with friends, and just exhaling from this crazy, bizarre year that I think all of us have had. It's just the kind of thing that will just help you to relax and just kind of go to a better place for a little while.
Yeah, and I think wine and those kind of conversations, it's better than talking politics. Can we just drop it over the holidays for right now? Like, let's just drop it. Let's have everybody
Absolutely.
needs to have some unity and some fun, and wine really helps with that, and food, and bringing friends and fellowship together. That I think is family, everyone getting together as a community is excellent. So now people can also purchase wines from you. So you do not have it where people purchase directly off your website because you, like, as a small business, have this personal connection which is very unique, that someone's going to call you up and say, hey, I want some wine, and that way you can actually help them personally about what they're doing for a gift or even what they're purchasing for at a party that they may be hosting, right?
Absolutely. One of the things that we've been very proud of over the course of time is that everybody that's ever bought our wines are people that we have met in one way or another, whether that's by email, by phone call, in person, what have you. We really want to establish a connection so that when people are buying our wines, they're really going to get that sense of who it is that they're buying it from. You talk about small business. I mean, it is my wife and I, and that's it. I mean, on a daily basis. And when you contact us, you're going to be talking to one of two people. And I'm one of the two, Sarah's the other one of the two, and that's it. So we want to make sure that you get the wines that are going to be the best fit for you and whoever it is that you're serving it with. And the only way we're going to be able to know that is by just talking to you for a few minutes and getting a sense of, hey, what are your preferences? What are your partners, guest preferences, what have you? We've got a lot of different choices available, and it's just a question of thinking through and just matching you up with the best offerings that we have.
And doesn't wine fit in a stocking stuffer? Like it's the perfect size for a stocking.
Oh, fits perfectly in a
Isn't it
stocking.
perfect?
It's a perfect fit. And one thing too, I always get a kick out of, people talk about our bottles, not because they are the big heavy bottles, because they're not. They're the nice, light. I said our customers care about what's in the bottle, not what the bottle is made of. So our
Yeah.
bottles will not only beautifully fit in your wine rack consistently, promise, but they will also fit nicely in your stocking as well.
And we should just all have a wine tree for Christmas.
Oh,
That's what I
absolutely.
think. Yeah, a
Absolutely.
wine tree. I'm all for that. So, and also you can use the corks for decorations, I'm just saying we could be fun with this. Um, One of the other things that you do that is so unique is that, if people make an appointment to have a tasting experience with you, where they come sit down, they taste the wine, and you talk about how the wine was made, what grapes, all that kind of thing, answer questions, which is great, especially for those that may be new to Oregon wines and even new to wine drinking, right? Or maybe think, like you were saying, oh, I don't like Chardonnay, but oh, suddenly we'll find out, oh, I do like this wine, the Helios. So changing minds because maybe it's just learning a little bit more about a tasting perspective and tasting something new. So I know you do these, special events with everyone. How many people have to be in a group to have this kind of tasting?
It really doesn't matter. We've had as few as two. We've had as many as eight. If we're doing a Zoom chat, a Zoom tasting, which we do offer for anybody who
Okay.
buys at least a case, at that point, hey, it's however you want your Zoom group to be. There really isn't a limitation at that point. For folks that come to the winery themselves, when you get past eight, it gets a little bit hard to keep a consistent, coherent conversation. But what we do when people come in, we only take one group at a time when folks are here. And the biggest reason for that is, and you alluded to it, I get folks that are very new to wine. I get folks that are very experienced in wine and everything in between. And you don't want to have the same conversation with people that are new and experienced with. Somebody is always getting the short shrift in the deal. So
Mm.
what I do is I take everybody that comes in, whatever their level is, wherever they're at in their own wine journey, we're going to talk to them, not over their heads, and we're going to make this interactive, involve them in the conversation. The point is to make them feel comfortable. What wine is not supposed to be, some bougie fancy schmancy thing. Wine is something to be enjoyed. It's an everyday, it's one of those nice little everyday luxuries that we can give ourselves, and we should take advantage of that. But let's make
Yeah.
this approachable wherever folks are. Some people want to geek out, which is great. But I have some people where literally I'm the first winery they've ever visited. And I want to make sure that both of those folks are every bit as comfortable here. So there's no topic in the winemaking world that we won't discuss.
Mm.
And I tell folks all the time, hey, if you've got something that you want to know and I, for whatever reason, didn't mention it, for goodness sakes, ask it, because I will tell you the goods, the bads, the crazies of what we do. Because hey, it's our
There
life
is the
and we love
crazies.
sharing it.
Yeah, and there's the crazies. And speaking of that, so okay, wait, I want to finish on the group thing. So you do the over online so people can book a Zoom. And like, what a great way to have, like a gathering, a holiday gathering. And it's a great gift because people could each have a case, around the country, around the world, and all come into one Zoom from all over, which is kind of cool. So that's a great gift. And then what about those coming to the winery so people can gift this to people, right?
Yes, absolutely. So we offer gift certificates. This will also work. Let's say if you just want to buy wine for somebody and a friend and have them pick out the wines, we do offer gift certificates. Sara makes up these nice little certificate things, and we send you the PDF, and you can print it off and do whatever. But you just call us, email us, much like with the wines and winery appointments, and we can take care of that for you.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay. So fun fact is that the winery is on an old Christmas tree farm, right? So I had to bring that up.
Oh yeah, it's a Christmas tree farm. You know, when we bought it, the Christmas trees, let's just say they'd seen better days.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that really set up the soil and the conditions great for when we planted the vineyard. You know, our vineyard, we started planting it in 2014. So geez, we're coming up on the you know,
10
the
years.
10th full year of these vines
Wow.
be the oldest vines at least being in the ground. So you're really now starting to see that maturity and the flavors and the development. It's been really, really fun to see. And I know that the customers have been with us for a long time, have really enjoyed seeing the journey. And one of the things we've been able to do too is to bring out some new grapes, you know, that you just don't see very much around here. You know, we talked about the Saval Blanc, the Helios already. This last harvest, we literally just harvested our very first. The name of the grape is Schioppettino.
Oh, wow. You get
Which
to say all these names. Yeah,
Oh
this
yeah.
is for
And
you.
I don't expect it'll don't worry, I don't expect anybody to spell it, but just what you need to know about it is that it's an Italian grape. There are less than 10 plantings of that grape in the United States.
Wow.
We love it because it's giving us that brightness and the red fruit we're expecting. But it's very, very different than everything else we make. So it's really nice that folks have very distinctive choices. It's not just Pinot. We give you a lot of other options as well. It's a lot of fun. You know, we wanted people to find things here that you couldn't find other places. So, you know, that process continues to
Ah,
develop and gets a little bit better every year.
so you had a good harvest then this year.
Harvest was good. We were very, very happy with the volumes and with the flavors. The flavors are gorgeous. The acidity looks beautifully balanced. It's very rare when you get a year where the fruit is very, very close to perfect when you harvest it. You know, most of the time you're having to tweak things here and there, and you're going to end up with great wine, but it's a lot more work. This year, I think we're going to get to the same place. We're not going to have to work quite as hard as we've had to in the past.
Wow, that means more bookings, more bookings. He's got more time to hang out with people coming in for wine tastings. Everyone, go to bellsupwinery.com. Very happy holidays and to you and Sara and your family and friends. It's going to be exciting. This whole next chapter, new wine. And I did see on your Instagram that it was snowing the other day. So you're ready.
I don't know if I'd say we're ready, but we're going to be dealing with it one way or the other.
It's coming. It's coming. It's coming. Well,
Uh,
thank you so much, David. It's always a pleasure to have you on the shows.
Thanks so much, Lisa. Love being here. Really appreciate you having me on.
Thanks for joining us here on Big Blend Radio's Eat, Drink, and Be Merry show. Keep up with our podcasts at bigblendradio.com and our magazines at bigblendmagazines.com.